What's up, CJ's Keto Kitchen family? This is CJ.
And Sarah.
It's a Wednesday, and that means it's time for another Keto
Conversation.
So let's get started. So we're back, and we haven't done this in a long time. We haven't sat down and actually had a traditional keto conversation
about a topic.
We haven't done that, and it's been a while. Between food unboxings and grocery hauls and other stuff, we just haven't done one of these in a while. So we're back with a topic, and it's a article that we found. Well, Sarah, you found it, so I'll let you lead into it.
Right. It's from Medical News Today, and it's from September of this year.
So it's new.
Very current.
Yeah, very current.
Yeah, and the topic is the keto diet may reduce Alzheimer's risk by altering gut fungi. So it's all about the link between diet, specifically keto, and Alzheimer's disease, or the mechanisms that cause Alzheimer's disease.
Sure.
So what it is basically is scientists found associations between fungi, or gut bacteria, and mild cognitive impairment, which is generally what leads to Alzheimer's eventually.
Right.
And they suggest that a ketogenic diet, more specifically this article suggests a Mediterranean ketogenic diet, but we'll get into that a little bit later in the discussion, could help prevent the disease by creating a more healthful balance of microorganisms in the gut. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
So that's what we're going to talk about.
And what they found.
And we're going to start this with a disclaimer. Mm-hmm. We are just providing information.
Correct.
We are not saying that keto will cure Alzheimer's
or prevent
you from getting Alzheimer's. That's not what we're saying.
No.
This is us simply relaying information about some research that's being done.
Keto in the news. Basically.
Keto in the news.
So we're just discussing it.
Again, that's what this is about. We will link to this article, and then you can read it yourself. You can follow whatever other links might be in the article that they link to, and you can just read it for yourself. And I guess one of the things that I thought was cool about it, and I just said this to Sarah as we were setting up, is it's interesting that they chose the keto diet. Although it's specifically, they mentioned a keto Mediterranean style diet, and like Sarah says, we'll get more into that. But I just find it interesting that they didn't choose. I'll just use this as an example. They didn't choose Weight Watchers, or they didn't choose
Whole30.
Yeah, they didn't. This group of researchers used a version of the keto diet because of the markers that they had seen in people with Alzheimer's, and they thought that the keto diet was one of the better ways maybe to address some
definitely
of those
an influencing factor.
Yeah.
For
so
sure.
All right, we'll get more into it.
Okay, so this is talking about, like I said, MCI, or mild cognitive impairment, which in most cases leads to dementia or Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Sometimes people can just have mild cognitive impairment just simply with aging.
Sure.
Someone who's 80 or 90 years old might be slightly impaired just because of age and not necessarily have dementia or Alzheimer's. But a lot of times this MCI does lead to Alzheimer's disease. So it's talking about one potential strategy that scientists have begun to explore involves modifying the diet to influence the microbial communities in the gut, because now they're saying that our gut microbiome has a lot to do with Alzheimer's or with this mild cognitive impairment. And so we know that there is an intimate relationship with how our body functions in the gut. In fact, I think it's lately in the last year or two, it's been called like the second brain. Our gut has been called the second brain. Mm-hmm. It's funny because for a long time it's been, go with your gut, using your gut to allow your brain to decide if something is a good idea. So maybe we've kind of always known all along that, your gut has something to do with, thinking. So anyway, so this study was done at the Wake Forest School of Medicine in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and they found a distinctive gut bacterial signature in people with this mild cognitive impairment. And when they introduced this modified ketogenic Mediterranean diet, it altered bacterial communities in the guts of volunteers who signed up for this study. So the difference between a traditional ketogenic diet and a Mediterranean-influenced one is simply the addition of more fish and seafood and using an emphasis on olive oil as your preferred oil in the fat. So they also used coconut and butter, of course, but olive oil was definitely introduced a lot more. Also, nuts and seeds were highly favored, and so that kind of makes it more of the Mediterranean style, but it's basically the same thing. Red meats were considered as well, but there is more of an encouragement, I would say, with fish and seafood in making it a Mediterranean style.
And I will say that I had never heard that until, actually, I had never heard the term or phrase Mediterranean style keto diet.
I had to look it up.
Well, no, I actually heard it the other day watching Thomas DeLauer.
Oh, okay.
I was actually watching him do a Costco haul, and he actually, as he was doing the haul and looking at products at Costco, he kept referring to a Mediterranean style keto diet. I had never heard of it before, and then we pulled this article out, and
well,
bam,
like the 7
right
studies and some of the other, popular studies in the last couple of years have suggested that the Mediterranean diet is the best possible diet for humans, and so it only makes sense that people would probably try and combine the 2 hottest diets to form this hybrid diet. So these findings were reported in the latest issue of the journal eBiomedicine. So if you did want to look that up, we'll try and have some of this information from this article linked, and then you could follow their link to read that information. So it's basically talking about fungi and brain health. So it says, even though we do not fully understand how these fungi contribute to Alzheimer's disease, this is the first study of its kind to reveal their role in our mental health, which we hope will ignite thinking in the scientific community to develop better understanding of them in relation to Alzheimer's disease. And of course, probably other kinds of inflammatory diseases would also benefit from this.
If I'm not mistaken, they're not really sure why people get Alzheimer's disease at this point. I mean, it happens. We may even know people that have in your family that it's happened to.
Well, and they have called it diabetes 3 because they do feel like there's some kind of connection.
Yeah, but as far as the medical community, there is no definite, this is what causes it. Exactly. And so that's why this research is important, because they're trying to figure out how to possibly prevent it from
reaching
occurring.
that. Right. So the researchers randomly assigned 17 older adults, and they asked them to either choose this Mediterranean ketogenic diet or the American Heart Association diet. So that was the control diet. Then that was the other diet they had a choice of, which is relatively low in fat and high in carbohydrates. So it's basically the complete opposite of the ketogenic Mediterranean style diet. 11 of the participants had this mild cognitive impairment, and 6 had no cognitive issues. Their average age was 65 years old, so there was a range there. The team provided each participant with 2 liters of extra virgin olive oil and encouraged them to eat in this specific way. After a 6-week washout period during which the participants maintained their regular diets, they switched to the study-assigned diet for 6 weeks. The scientists monitored changes in the participants' microbiomes by analyzing samples and changes in their biomarkers by assessing samples of their cerebral spinal fluid. So, at the start of the study, the participants who had this mild cognitive impairment had a distinctive signature compared to the other participants. So they had started noticing symptoms of this impairment. As expected, MCI was associated with a high-risk profile of Alzheimer's. But following an MMKD, which is the Mediterranean-style ketogenic diet, appeared to improve the risk profile. Interestingly, individuals with MCI initially had less fungal diversity in their guts compared with the healthy participants, but after eating this specific ketogenic diet, they seemed to restore their diversity. So that was very interesting. So it also went on to discuss inflammation, that we know that inflammation is connected with almost every major disease on Earth. So, and it's definitely believed to play an important role in Alzheimer's. And eating a ketogenic diet can help reduce the risk of inflammation in general, not just in connection with Alzheimer's.
Right.
So, those were their findings. I do want to point out here at the end that the study had limitations, of course. So this is more of a it's not a fully reaching study. There's different types of studies based on different parameters and how they're done. So the authors acknowledged in this study that it had some key limitations. First, while the researchers advised people to eat certain diets, they did not monitor the participants in this. So a lot of your other famous studies are sometimes done in a hospital setting or even prison, because they're able to actually completely control.
They can closely monitor the people.
If you're participating in a, like, you know, some of the Minnesota starvation trials and some of those other famous trials where they're done in a controlled setting, meaning that the participants aren't able to leave wherever they're at, like a hospital or a prison, and they are served food based on the parameters of the study. And that's not what this was. But it said, you know, it was also a smaller study because it was only 17 adults.
Sure.
Making it impossible to account for other variables that might have affected this study. So there weren't any factors of like lifestyle, gender, you know, ethnicity, or things like that.
Sure.
But it did say that the unique structure of gut fungi and bacterial attributes affected by this MCI, there was a noticeable difference. So whether, you know, that would have continued or other things might have come into play after the 6 weeks of this study, they of course weren't sure. But I think what was exciting about this article and why I wanted to talk about it is it just shows the possibility that further studies of this manner may be done using the ketogenic diet as a marker, as a control group.
Yes, and if you don't know, so yes, a lot of us come to keto to lose weight, but keto has been around
since the 1800s.
Right.
Banting was Australian low
so
carb.
It's been used in a lot of medical applications,
neurological, like epilepsy, still to this day.
Sorry. So
yeah,
it's been used with epilepsy way before all of us discovered it to lose weight. Right. So that is, again, what's exciting about this is that, again, even though this was a small study, it still should give you it's hope for further study and the possibility of keto. Again, I always say keto is a real thing. Well, keto is a real thing, and you got yourself a hold of something potentially that, who knows what, as research continues to be done, you may already have a hold of something that could not only change your life, but eventually just be the recommended way that we are told to eat.
Exactly.
That might be hard to believe right now, but you never know as more and more research is done.
It's a good tool to have in your toolbox regardless, because if anything, this study proves that eating this lifestyle is not going to hurt your chances against Alzheimer's. And if it's something that there's the possibility of it helping, it's a plus. It's definitely a plus.
Sure. And again, all of this is fairly new. They admit the limitations. Again, we're not saying that keto cures Alzheimer's. That's not what we're saying.
No.
We're just letting you know that this kind of research is going on, and that it's
exciting. It's very exciting, and it's hopeful that more people will come to this understanding that this is an acceptable, enjoyable, valuable way of life. And it might be, you know, helpful for people who have older ones living with them or whose parents are in this age group. And another tool that you can encourage them to perhaps look into the lifestyle that you're practicing as a way to help, you know, with preventative diseases such as Alzheimer's.
Sure. And then a lot of times, you know, again, a lot of us, we've come to keto to lose weight. But then we find because we've lost so much weight that our health markers change in a lot of different areas.
Right.
I remember watching, and I'll just throw this name out as well, Keto Diamond. That's a channel. And I remember her, somewhere in her intro, talking about 23 diseases reversed or cured or something as she's been doing keto. And I think she said she's lost maybe 150 pounds doing keto. And so, like I said, this is her channel, her intro. I was just watching it. We kind of started together.
At the same
time. As far as channels go. And I just thought that was interesting because as I was thinking, I was like, a lot of times because you are losing the weight, you are reversing all these other conditions that you have, because a lot of times you have the conditions because of the weight.
Right, they're weight related.
They're weight related.
You in a scarier category because you're obese.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
so as you continue and continue to stick with keto, continue to lose weight, there's all kinds of benefits. And the weight loss, it's almost like the weight loss is a added benefit.
It's a side effect.
A side effect
of better health.
Of better health.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where I was trying to go. So anything else on that?
I think that's pretty much what we wanted to discuss. We just wanted to, I guess we wanted to talk about something positive and happy, and that, that there are a lot of benefits for the ketogenic diet, like CJ said.
And if you didn't know, you wouldn't have any reason to know this, but you told me the other day you took medical something in college. Medical terminology. So when Sarah goes to the doctor's office about anything, they think she's a doctor.
Anytime I've had to visit with a doctor, what field of medicine are you in?
Yes. And so that's one of the reasons she was doing a lot of the talking, is because this stuff she eats up and she can pronounce all the words. And so it's cool to have Dr. Sarah here.
Dr. Sarah, yes.
Because seriously, she has been asked that question by actual doctors who think she is a practicing physician. So again, this is just a keto conversation that we're providing information. We'll link to the article. If I find another article, maybe I'll link to whatever articles we found, but we will link to where we got this from.
And also, if you are interested in anything having to do with a ketogenic diet and Alzheimer's, I highly recommend Amy Berger's book, because she's written a book exclusively about the link between Alzheimer's and the ketogenic diet. So,
I will find out the name of that book,
yes,
and then I will also link to that in the video description as well. So if you're new to this channel or you just stumbled upon our channel, we do these keto conversations every Wednesday. Sometimes we do, just like we did tonight, we talk about a relevant keto topic. A lot of times sometimes we do food unboxings, actually just once a month. We also do, sometimes we throw in a grocery haul.
What we eat. We had date night last week.
Yeah, last week was date night.
It seems like last night.
Yeah, it was a date night video. And so that's what you kind of expect on Wednesdays. And then every Sunday, that's when our new recipes come out.
So it's kind of a ketogenic potpourri.
Yeah. So consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as part of our family. We're just two regular folks who lost a lot of weight on keto, and we still love the lifestyle and share it with people. And so we are learning just like you guys are learning, and when we find out new information, we like to share it with people as well. So consider subscribing. We'd love to have you here as part of our keto family, and we hope that you have a great rest of the week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Peace.